Okay, yeah, just once again, good morning to us all who are here, and welcome you for to this call, in this class, in this lesson. Yeah, more those who will be with us, who will be joining us, they will find us on the way. But basically, we are good to go. And what I would love to say is that you're most welcome, and we're here to give you delivery for the art lessons. Just these recording, these videos are recorded on YouTube, and in case you will be watching in YouTube, thank you so much, and just like and share to those who may need this knowledge of art. Extending it more to for today's lesson, I would love to share the screen so that we should go through what I got in plan. Okay, so basically, uh, this is content for Senior 2 on the website, and I believe you have access to it. You get me? All this, you have access to it. No, so Shania. Shania, you're on?
Yes.
Uh, okay, what I was trying to say is that this content, you have access to it, and yesterday, there was a training that was taking us through on how you can get to see everything that is in this course you enrolled for. And so I really request you to go and check it out. You try to go through something and try to attempt the assignments on each unit in this course. And then more to that, some of our lesson we shall base on what you have gone through or the assignment you have submitted in, to extending that one-on-one discussion as we critique or discuss the strength in the work and also some of the weaknesses. Yes, so previously I explained I talked about this, the shading techniques is one of the lessons you missed, but as I've said, you have access to the content. You just have to go there and see how you get to catch up with those who are in the lesson. Then more to this, I also discussed briefly about calligraphy, which is also a topic in senior to art, and that is graphics. So I also explained briefly about it, but more to this, we shall be discussing it ahead. Now today, basically, I wanted us to go through color theory, okay? And we are going to briefly go through color. Do you have something you know about color in terms of art? What do you know about color in terms of art? Just to extend in your voice. Shania,
Yes.
what do you know about color?
Well, I know color, like you can use it to make the object look more real according to how you shade using the coloring materials.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And yes, you have said it right. Basically, it is how you use it to apply to make something look real. But more to that, what I would love to say is that color is an element of art on its own. And I believe you have a clue about elements. Do you?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so color is part of it, and here we are going to just discuss the color theory, more about color, and it is very, very important if we are going to apply color in any artwork, for us to understand what is the knowledge behind it. Why should I use blue? Why should I not use green? Why should I not use red and this color? You get me? Because there are some colors that once you mix them together, they will give you work that is not good. So it is very key for us to get to know about this. And briefly, as we are going to be discussing this, I will be showing you the different terminologies that we involve in color. So this theory of color, it is two-sided. We apply it in our drawing, but also we apply it in our theory paper. Okay, so with art, we also have a theory paper that is not that hard, because the main objective for this theory paper is for students to apply, to get knowledge of what they produce in their works. So so they may ask you some simple question: what is color, the different categories of color, and what are their definition. To be honest with you, these things are very simple. And as we get closer and we discuss more of them, you realize that they are even, you have been applying them in your daily life. Yeah, so more about color. The reason why I love color is that sometimes I speak myself. Imagine if everything was in black and white. Okay, the trees are in black or white, in the gray tone. The clouds are not for blue, but they're in black and white, like those cameras for the past centuries. Just imagine, the world would not be interesting, really. We may be interesting because we don't know that color exists, but the fact that we have been introduced to color, God has extended color to humankind, we get to see that, wow, color is really beautiful. We are surrounded by beautiful things, and that is colored, full, natural objects. Yeah, what we have to know is that everything that man uses is God gets inspiration from nature that was created by God. So all these colors originate from all these colors originate from natural objects. Okay, you will see a flower of yellow, you see a flower of red, you see a plant of green, and so much more. So we get inspiration from what God created. Let me just extend in these words so that they should be big enough for us to read and clearly get to see. Color comes from light. Okay, it is where not for. If it were not for light, we would have no color. That is true. The reason why we can see objects is because there is an effect of light on that object. If you enter in a room that has no light and it is all dark, you will not see any color. You just see black. But because of light effect, we tend to see color happening. So in other words, light rays move in straight path from a light source within its light rays. These are rays of color in the spectrum of rainbow, shining a light into a prism, which creates a rainbow of colors because it separates the color of the spectrum. When the light rays hit an object, our eyes respond to the light that is bounced back, and we see that color. As students, artists, we use pigments in the form of powder or liquid paint to create color. Yeah, so basically in all this that is said here, I want to tell you that color, this is how the eye perceives an object in relation to the effect of light on that particular object. Okay, here it goes on to explain how the physical part of color, the way it is formed, but in simple terms is that how an object is reflected by my eye in relation to the effect of light. So you personally, you may be brown or black or chocolate, but just because of light, we tend to see some white part or some white piece, some white points on your skin. So that is because of light that is affecting. We may see that a t-shirt may be of red when we are close to it, but because of the folds that creates on a t-shirt, we may tend to see that there is black. You get me? So such those some of those are some of the category of the effects that I was trying to talk about, that how the eye perceives in relation to the effect of light. Okay, you may realize that an object is for one color, but because there is the effect of light, we tend to see more than one color. Yeah, and basically, I want this to be part. I want you to interact with me by extending in uh, by extending in your voice in terms of this. So for us as artists, we have to get to know the color wheel. Shania, do you know something about the color wheel?
Yes,
What is it all about?
it's about the different categories of colors, like there are primary, there are secondary colors. Yes.
Okay, wow, that's really good. And what's all about primary colors?
The colors which like okay, like the original colors.
Yes, yeah, that is true. When you define primary colors as the original colors, that is 100% true, because they cannot be mixed, okay, to be achieved. So in case you want to achieve a primary color, you cannot achieve it because it is a natural and original color. That is the example we have. It is red, blue, and yellow. So that is the primary colors, and for them they are static, they are permanent, they are original. You don't have to go into mixing them to get them. More to that, what do you say about secondary colors?
I think secondary colors, you have to add two primary colors in order to achieve them.
Exactly. Yes, that's true. When we, for example, here on our screen, we have this stuff, we have this color, the color wheel, and if you see yellow and red, when you mix them, you get a secondary color. You get me? If you mix a blue and yellow, blue and if you mix blue and yellow, you get green. You get me? And if you mix a blue and red, you get violet or purple. So that is true, and that this gives us a go ahead. Once we get to know this, we realize that in case I'm going to buy paint, paint for me to do a work of art, I don't have to buy all the tints. I buy yellow, I buy green, I buy purple, I buy orange, I just need to have the original colors. Okay, I just get yellow, I get blue, I get red. So with that, it becomes you can achieve the rest of the colors. More to that, what is the remaining type of colors that we have not discussed?
Tertiary.
Exactly. And what is all about the tertiary colors?
Mm, may I think you add a primary and a secondary color.
Yes, you have got it right. It's true that tertiary is achieved by adding a secondary and a primary color. So in case this is yellow, which is a primary, and the orange is a secondary, we get oak yellow, which is more like yellow, more or bit like orange. So that is a tertiary color. And with the tertiary color is that it is very important for us to achieve such colors, because when we only use primary colors in our artworks tend to be more open or easily understood, because we just got paint from a tin of yellow and applied. But if you go to mixing these colors, your work tends to be to ensure that you took a process of changing colors to achieve secondary colors, so tertiary colors. So tertiary colors, as you can hear the name, tertiary is the same as they can be identified as the upper studying. Tertiary level is we have a college, we have university. So at that level, when you use tertiary university colors, okay, college colors, it really makes your work to be good and become vivid in terms of viewing it. So it is very key that even as we shall be continuing to do this, it will be good if we extend it using tertiary colors. Yeah, but for us now, tertiary colors we can do, but as we shall be starting doing our works, we can start off with primary and secondary. But if you see you can go beyond, you do also tertiary colors. So I really do welcome works that you'll do that are in all these that are accompanying up the color wheel. Yeah, so basically this is what we have been discussing, and you said it right. Color wheel is made up of primary colors, of which we have yellow, red, and the blue. Then more to this, we have the secondary, which is a mixture of two primary colors. Then we have the intermediate. Okay, the intermediate is the same as the tertiary colors, and basically we say that a colors got by mixing a primary with a secondary color. So that is it. And now, since we have got to see how the color wheel is formed, okay, uh, we are going to go into how we can better use the color wheel in terms of harmonizing and coming up with good artworks. So I would love you to read for me what you are seeing on the screen, the complementary colors. Or if you have a clue about it, you can just say what it's all about.
I think these complementary colors, you add any two opposite colors on the color wheel. Like when they are used together on like two opposite colors on a color wheel. Yes, then like let's say red and green, yellow and violet.
Mm. Yes, that is true. Thank you so much. And the complementary colors, as you have said, these are the colors that are opposite each other on a color wheel. So opposite each other on a color wheel. So it means that when you are going to do an artwork, it is not good for you to mix red and green in the same area, okay? But they tend to be bright and look good when they are placed close to each other. So for example, I have green, a tree of green and a ground of green, but more to it, I also have some I also have a flower of red on the green. So they work good when you use them individually in a particular object or artwork. You use them individually on an object, but all they are in the same artwork. Yeah. So when you mix these two complementary colors, you realize that they will give you a dirty color, what we call a dirty color. If you mix red and green at once, you realize that it gives you a very, very dirty color and it is not pleasing. But if you use them adjacent to each other or next to each other, you realize that it is really bringing out something good. And this goes back to even how we dress up. Green and red, when you put green and red in your dressing code, it can be really good. It is strong. If you have critically looked at how people dress up and some in fashion designers, they will really tell you that green and red, they are really good because they are complementary. They work hand in hand. And all about complementary goods in commerce or entrepreneurship is that these are goods that work in hand. If you buy a pen, you will need to buy a book. Okay. So if you use red, you need to use green somewhere in your composition. If you use blue, you need to use orange or violet. Violet. Sorry, your oak yellow. If you use a purple, you may get to use yellow. So that is complementary, and the complementary, they are good when they are used together in a work of art. You have something to say? Yeah. So
Yes,
about uh-huh.
I remember when we were learning, the teacher told us about the complementary color scheme. So it's all about the complementary colors and how we use them.
Uh-huh. Wow. Yeah, that is true. The complementary scheme is a combination of colors that you can use in one composition. For example, if you are going to if you critically look at some billboards or newspaper magazine, you realize that okay, if they have used the uh, one side of the magazine green, realize the next page is going to be red, so that it can really create a beautiful look on the magazine. So this is very key for you to apply this, not only in drawing or painting or graphics or imaginative, but also in your daily living on how you dress and how you view colors around. So it is very good. And more to this, we have the color harmony. Color harmonies. Tell me about color harmonies, or just go through what you know about color harmony in simple terms in relation to the word itself.
Uh, color harmonies. Color harmonies are when an artist or student uses certain combinations of colors that create different looks or feelings.
Yes, thank you so much. Uh, Color harmony, a combination of colors that create different looks or feel. And the more when we talk about harmony, is like unity. Okay, colors that are united together. And on a color wheel, it is somehow close to what we call analogous colors. And which analogous colors the colors are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. For example, red, orange, orange are analogous color. So that gradual movement of how green changes into light green and goes to yellow, then it goes to oak yellow, which is the orange yellow, then it goes to orange. That's what we call analogous color. But more to that, also harmonious color is somehow related to this, because the way harmonious means that okay, they are having the same concept of being united. In other words, if I use the blue, I will again use a lighter blue and then go into greens. They are analogous. They are together. They are friends. You get me? So that is one of, and the birds of the same feather fly together. So when the green is here, that means it will fly with lighter green. It will fly with yellow. It will fly with orange, because they are all the same. They are placed on the same side of the color wheel. So the artist can choose to use analogous color or harmonious color. The artist can decide to use complementary color. We talked about this complementary color or analogous color or harmonious colors. Then more to this, we have the tried harmonious. This is where equal space color of the color wheel I use, for example, yellow, orange, red, violet, blue, green, is a tragic harmonious color scheme. This type of harmony is this type of harmony is good for designing in secondary exams of paper or of paper fine art. It gives a good contrast in our creativity. For example, designing a logo where letters are used and each letter is given its own contrasting color. Yes, more to this. If we just go into the tradic harmony, is we just get back to here complementary, and we say, okay, this orange and this yellow and this blue. You see? No, yes, this orange, this yellow, and this blue, we use them together. Almost someone can say, I use the purple, and I use the oak yellow, and I use the lighter green. So that is all about triadic colors, and they are really good if we also use them. But more to this, we have monochromatic colors, and what do you have to say about monochromatic colors?
I think when you look at them, maybe like in a drawing, they look more like toning from a darker shade of a certain color to the lighter shade.
Yes, that is true, and it's all about using. When we talk about mono, the word mono means that it is one. Okay, so mono means just one color. Monochromatic color, it means that you use one color, but you just change it in relation to creating values. And values, we mean the dark values, the dark shades, and the lighter shades. So in color, we get to see them as tints. They will light the light tones. Here, as we see white coming out across at the extreme height of this color, is that we have those are tints whereby the original color, you add white to get the original color. That is if you are using paint. But in shading with the pencil, colored pencils, you just reduce your force, the pressure you put on the paper to create those lighter effects. Or you add white pencil on a white colored pencil on the red color. Then more with the dark tones, we just add black to the red we have used. So that is about monochromatic color. Mono, I've told you, it means one. And that is meaning that we are using one color, but we are just changing the values of the color in it. So more to this adjacent color scheme is where two or more colors are located next to each other in a color wheel. And I think this one you have got, for example, blue or blue. An artist can just decide to use. This is similar to monochrome, to analogous, but the difference with analogous color is that it tends to become a wide scheme of color. But with the adjacent color scheme is whereby we get only three that are in the same category. For example, blue itself, we have a blue green, we have a blue violet. All those can be good. Then I want you to go through this, the visual effects of color, just briefly.
I read.
Yes.
Visual effects of color, warm colors. Warm colors are on one side of the color wheel and they give the feeling of warmth. For example, red, orange, and yellow are the color of fire and feel warm.
Okay.
Then,
yes, continue.
cool colors are the colors on the other side of the color wheel and they give the feeling of coolness. For example, white, blue, violet are the colors of water and green are the colors of cool grass.
Yes, thank you so much. Basically, what I can extend to this, that even when you look at this color wheel, you see that there is a separation in the brightness and the darkness of them. So the warm are the bright colors, that they are the hot colors, let me say. In terms of, we see when water is warm, it is hot. So warmth is the hot colors. And the reason why we call them hot colors is that they are bright. from a distance, they bring excitement. They are very strong. Okay. Yet with the cold colors or cool colors, we basically see that for them, they tend to go behind. Okay. They tend to be behind, and they are very calm. They don't call for attention. They are, yes, it's all about, they are very calm and they don't call for attention. But hot colors, they call for attention. If I use a hot color in a drawing, it will create, it will attract someone's eye to be, to focus, to focus his attention on the artwork. The same, if I use cool colors, to really bring a feeling of coldness, or a feel of an artwork being low in terms of attention. So it is good as we artists to get to understand this concept, that we should balance up how we are going to use our colors, and knowing that, okay, if I'm going to use red, that means I may be calling out for attention. Okay, if I'm going to use yellow and orange, those colors will tend to make the work to be looked at, and without, like, from a distance, someone will look at it and say, hey, there is something that is calling out for attention. But if you use the cold colors or cool colors, you realize that, okay, this part is going to not be showing, not going to be attracting attention. So in simple terms, what I will say to this is that as artists, we should know how to, when and where to use these colors. Okay, the hot colors and the cold colors, the warm and the cool colors. So they are very, very key for us to know, because when we are creating a work of art in color, it is good that we put it into consideration. Visual effects of color are very interesting. For example, a light, bright color such as yellow can make a room appear larger than it is, while dark shades will make the room seem smaller. So these are some of the effects, and these are beyond just the drawing we do, but it goes on to, even in case we are going to paint a house. Also, if the ceiling are too low, you can visually raise them without touching a hammer, by painting the ceiling with lighter colors than the wall. So these are some of the concepts that the artists who are dealing with interior design, they tend to use. Okay, conveying high ceiling can be lowered using a dark ceiling paint. That is it, and the color can even change the temperature you feel in a room. Reds, orange, and yellows add warmth and coziness, while white, blue, and greens will make a room seem cooler. Yeah, so that is all. That is all. Then more to this, I want you to read out to us this note.
Before a student starts shading using color, he or she must know the color basics. Color is the perceptual characteristic of light described by a color name. Specifically, color is light, and light is composed of many colors. Those we see are the colors of the visual spectrum: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. Objects absorb certain wavelengths and reflect others back to the viewer. We perceive these wavelengths as color.
Yes, I think this defines what I told you in the first place, that color is light. If we don't have light striking on an object, we may not see that there is color. But the fact that we have some point of light on an object, we shall perceive color. Yeah, so, and it goes back to say objects observe certain wavelengths and reflects others back to the viewer. So the way the wavelength we observe, that are reflected back to us, the viewers, are the ones we tend to say, okay, that is dark color. That is a dark color. That is a dark green, but that is but his color because of light. Then more to this. We have just let us just go briefly into this. And I see by a color is described in three ways: by its name, how pure or structural it is, and its value or lightness, chrome, intensity, saturation, and the saturation, luminous, and all stroke value are interrelated terms and have to do with the description of a color. So basically, we are going to go through them quickly, and that will be the end of our lesson today. Yes, so just go through them.
Chroma. How pure a hue is in relation to gray.
Okay, yeah. Yes, continue.
Saturation, the degree of purity of a hue.
Okay.
Intensity, the brightness or dullness of a hue. One may lower the intensity by adding white or black. Luminance stroke value, a measure of the amount of light reflected from a hue. Those hues with a high content of white have a higher luminance or value. Shade and tint are terms that refer to a variation of a hue. Shade, a hue produced by the addition of black. Tint, a hue produced by the addition of white.
Okay, yes, thank you so much for that. And just I'm going to briefly go back to them to give you an in-depth explanation. But how pure a hue is in relation to gray. Basically, we talked about this. Okay, this is the monochrome, and the pure color in this is here. Let me just now you see, this is the pure color. Okay, yeah, so that is the pure color, and it is here they told us that, let me just erase this. Here they told us that how pure a hue is in relation to gray. You get me? So gray is basically from the values. Gray, when we talk about gray, we basically say a mixture of white and black gives us gray. So
gray.
The value scale, not so?
Yes.
That's true. So the chroma is the pure hue. And you know the term hue in this context?
No.
Okay, so when we talk about hue, hue basically means color in its pure form. For example, if I say, can you use a hue of red? I'm meaning color. It's basically a color, one color. Is another term we use for color, in particularly to art. Then also saturation, the degree of purity of the color. So saturation basically when it is affected by light or by water. If you get a point of color and you pour water on it, it has been saturated. So it is red, but it now gets into pink. Then intensity.
The
Yes.
brightness or dullness of a hue.
That is true. One may lower intensity by adding white or black. So that is also, so the color intensity is also key, because if you see your work is becoming too bright, that means you have to reduce the intensity by creating dull effects so that it can cool down. And it is very key for us to get to know that. More to this, we have this value of which is the measure of light reflecting from a hue. And this goes back to the grays. This is the value part of it, from dark to light, due to the effect of light that is striking on an object. Then shades and tints are terms referred to various. So a hue produced by addition of black. So when in our discussion as artists, when we shall say, okay, we create more shades. And when we talk about shades, I just mean that, okay, you have to apply more black in the drawing you're doing, or you have to apply more pressure on the pencil you're using to give us those shades. In case you are just using a pencil, you're not using color. And if we go into tints, it's a hue produced by addition of white. In this, I mean, okay, if you're using colored pencil, you may have to mix it with white. But if you're using a normal pencil for shading, you may have to just reduce your pressure you apply on a pencil or use lighter pencil. Yeah, so this video is there. As I told you, have access to this. Just go there, just go on the website and click on the video so that you can get to see more about this. But in simple terms, I can see we are good to go. And the assignments to this are also there. Basically, I would do the assignment we can go with right now. I would say that you create a work of art, okay, and try to use one type of style of crop of scheme. From all these we have shared, the analogous, the complementary. Okay, you say I'm going to use the one of them, and let us try to see how they come out very well in this in your application. It can be either using you drawing a still life composition, or it can be you drawing a natural object, but we should see the concept of a color scheme being shown in your work.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically that's what we have today. In case you have any question, I would request you to extend them now, then we see what is ahead of us.
So about the assignment, I choose to use, like, let's say one of the color, like, let's say, because we looked at these complementary, monochrome, analogous. So I use one of those to create an artwork.
Yes. Yeah, you should use one of them. If you decide to use the complementary, you use it. If you see analogous will work for you, try to use them. And you have colored pencils?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that can be good. And I don't limit you on which type of art you should do. You can either do graphics, or you can do nature drawing, or you can do imaginative, or you can do still life drawing. So it is up to you. Just make your choice and execute that work in the scheme you have created. You have chosen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And this was good sharing with you. But more to this, just go into the course on the website, and go through this content. All this is for us to discuss. Oh, sorry. So I will stop sharing, and we can come to an end of this lesson.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you too. I was enjoying this discussion.
Yes.
Have a good day.
Likewise.
I wish you the best.
Thank you.